Welcome to Spring Trends. I'm sure you're surprised seeing me sitting down. Well, so many things are happening in this country, and there's no strength anywhere. My name is Emmanuel Ojadegele. Welcome to the show this morning. It's Spring Trends, where we tell you who is trending, why they are trending, or what is trending, and what people are saying about the who, the what, and the why. This morning, we begin on, we're taking a break from all of the political stories. A lot of things happening on the political scene, but let's take another outlook to what's happening on the national scene. Over the weekend, a video emerged from Twitter where the military, some men of the military of the Nigerian army, took it upon themselves to assault the gods. We all know that masquerades, apart from being cultural custodians and cultural symbols, are also seen as sacred and close to the gods. But that did not stop these men of the Nigerian army from assaulting this masquerade. I must warn you that this video contains some strong scenes and it's rated 18+.
Masquerade, pump your jaw now. Give her masquerade, guy. This masquerade, this masquerade, masquerade, sir, masquerade, sir, masquerade, sir. How is your mola? You cannot answer. Masquerade, sir. How is your mola? How is your mola? How is your mola? Masquerade. I roll up my shawarma. I did for. I get bastard out of them. I roll up my masquerade. Masquerade. You do this fatigue as far you want to die. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. Masquerade. Sir. Masquerade. Sir. Shout thank God. Thank God, sir. Shout thank God. Thank God, sir. You see those your mates that run away. Yes, sir. By the time we release you, you go and gist them. Okay. Watch your eyes see. Okay, sir. This one that here. Shout thank God. Thank God, sir. Masquerade. Sir.
I found that video quite uncomfortable to watch, honestly speaking. I don't really know what the masquerade, there's no story yet as to what the masquerade did or what may have led to that confrontation with the men of the military. But regardless of what the masquerade did, I think it's unfair to subject such person, such cultural symbol to that kind of denigration and humiliation. But let's see how social media users reacted to it, what they had to say. We begin with Samuel Adeyemi. Samuel Adeyemi starts first, says, at Nigerian Army Headquarters, is this what you commissioned your men to do to Nigeria? Please bring the perpetrators of this disgraceful outing to book. This is unacceptable. You don't abuse Nigerians and disgrace our culture like this now. No. CC Minister Lai Mohammed at Nigeria Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Igwe Onyekachi, responding to that video, says, this must not be allowed to slide. God forbid this kind of dehumanizing shown to this man. Was he causing any problems in the community before doing this to him? The soldiers must answer for their crimes against humanity. Who comes next now? I see Innocent. Innocent comes next, says, this is all shades of wrong. At HQ Nigerian Army and Defense Info NG, this incident should be investigated and the culprits dealt with to prevent further degradation of community trust and cooperation. A better Nigeria is possible says, what's the offense of the masquerade or the person masquerading? I think it is important we know exactly what happened and then investigate who's actually wrong. But above all, their action is bad. I believe that Nigerian Army will do justice to this as it's a matter of assault in the public. The plug ambassador says at Defense Info NG at HQ Nigerian Army, What sort of disrespect for the people's tradition is this? Is it what your men are commissioned to do? There must be consequences for such abuse of power by your men. Nike says, attention at Defense Info NG, at Nigerian Army, at CDS Nigeria. Did the masquerade commit any crime, or the men in camouflage thus derive pleasure in dehumanizing any unharmed civilian they deem fit to molest? Attention at EU in Nigeria, EU Commission, CNN Africa, BBC Africa, Fox News, UN, HRC. Arinze Churchill says, when the leaders would lie and commit fraud bluntly with boldness, everyone got power to torment anyone. And if you speak up, they will say, I will waste you and nothing will happen. It shows that Nigerians don't respect their laws. In good countries, you can't beat up citizens. Well, that's coming from Churchill. Abba Anenechukwu says, Nigerian Army, this is pathetic, for God's sake. What is this? Come on, we have done those terrorizing certain regions in this country. And come on, we have those terrorizing these certain regions in this country, unless it's being done to curb that. What is you people's obsessions with masquerades in Nigeria? That's coming from Anenechukwu there. Big Joe of Lagos comes next. It says, the Nigerian Army must fish out these terrible soldiers for this disgraceful outing. Why humiliate him in the costume? The guy may be wrong, but you remove the costume and then punish him. That costume is our collective culture and tradition as a people, including the clueless soldier man. That's coming from Big Joe. Oji Isi Aga Ogu says, this is what your soldiers are doing in communities you deployed them at HQ Nigerian Army. Why this unnecessary humiliation of an aspect of a people's culture? Well, that's the last comment on that story. Let us know what you think about, soldiers assaulting representatives of the gods. In times past, it seems like the gods would have been able to strike one or two people down with lightning. But I don't know what's happening with the gods these days too. They seem to not be interested in fighting their own battles. Away from the gods, we move over to Ondo State, where some cheering news came out from that place yesterday. If you right up there on your screen, as was reported by the Punch newspapers yesterday, and of course many other newspaper outlets. The church, our St. Francis Catholic Church in our Ondo State, reopened for religious activities on Sunday yesterday, 10 months after it was shut down. If you remember the deadly attack that led to the death of many persons in that church, with the ISWAP claiming responsibility for the attacks. That happened 10 months ago, and now the church has been opened. But let's take a look at some of the pictures that came out from the church yesterday. Yes, you can see a picture of mass being conducted right there. Reverend Father and the altar boys there on the altar. Let's look at the next picture. Also coming out from the church, a back view, general view of the congregation. I mean, these people are really strong to have come out after this month to that same place where they were massacred. Next picture also shows a cross-section of worshippers. You see the men there, the reverend sisters right there in the church. We also have the next picture of different, also I think another back view of the church from the back. Yes, that's another picture there showing worshippers, some of them lifting their hands. What better time than to reopen the church than Easter Sunday, when we celebrate the rising of the Lord Jesus Christ, as people entering into the church yesterday. After 10 months, they were worshiping on Sunday, and people just came in and started shooting and killing others. As a view from outside the church, it's now been renovated, looks back, restored to its former glory right there. And some victims. This woman was a victim of the issue of that shooting. She ended up on a wheelchair, but she was still courageous enough to come back to church yesterday. And the next picture also shows another victim who was in the church that day, was injured in the crossfire. Not really crossfire, and the attack is what it was. Attack and senseless massacre and killing of worshippers in the church. These are scenes coming out from the St. Francis Catholic Church in our Ondo State. Don't know if we have any more pictures, but those are the pictures that we could get for you from the church. See if we could take more. Okay, so that's that on the church from Owo, the church in Owo. Now let's look at how Nigerians responded to that on social media, particularly on Twitter. How Nigerians responded to reopening of the church. Cynthia Eke says, affliction shall not rise a second time, but I hope necessary security measures is put in place adequately. Next comment comes from Onile Gogoro says, the will of the people will prevail. No amount of violence or terrorism would diminish the zeal of a people that want to live. No power on earth can stop it. That's from Onile Gogoro. Ace Kinney says, the gates of hell shall not prevail. The church is marching on. The church is marching on, and the grace and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Let's see the next comment from the Green White Go movement. The Green White Go movement says, I'm happy to hear this. Thank God for life and grace to move on and be better. Thank God for grace, for life and grace to move on and be better. We pray that the souls of those who died in that attack will continue to rest. I mean, their families continue to find comfort. Adegbaju Oluwasegun says, has the culprit been arrested? Who will answer that question? Kosh comes next. It says, LOL, our church reopens without any of the culprits caught or prosecuted. Will they play for this country? Gabby Gentile, structural fire engineer, says, no better time to reopen it. May the souls of the departed rest in God. Jesus has conquered death by rising to glory. We'll come to Aburi Accord. Aburi Accord says, enough reasons to know that your life is in your hand and not in anyone's hand. Defend yourself as much as you can, but please do that without contravening any law. Now we move over to Young Safi. Young Safi says, and that's how the matter of killing of the innocent people, in which their only crime is to wake up in the morning and decide to go worship, and they end up being killed, has been swept. Not just swept, but swept under the carpet. Abi, followed by those emojis there. Biblet Queen says, nobody will be arrested. Nothing from the government to the affected. The deed has been done, and the attackers can just move on to other attacks they've got on their agenda. And as it's a free ride for such acts here, SMH means shaking my head. Well, that's that from Owo, in those states. Well, we started the show by showing you some sort of assault from soldiers on, by a masquerade, And just this morning, we've also seen a video of a policeman assaulting a young man. We don't know what the altercation was or what led to that. But what stands condemnable is the excessive use of force and violence, especially against unarmed citizens. If you have any sort of confrontations or altercation with someone who is unarmed, I don't think you should use force on the person. So we'll take that video now to show you another. I know there's been so much cry, so much talks about police brutality, about high-handedness, but it seems like we're not going anywhere sane soon. Let's take a look at this video and this condemnable act. All right, so that incident you just watched happened in Rivers State. You can see the man is not even arguing with the policeman. He was only asking, did I steal? Yet he was being slapped twice or three times there. His wife was there saying, let's go. I mean, these people have no, I don't know why. I really don't know. If you take up that issue or you tweet about it, Bright Edafe, who is the spokesperson of the police in Delta State, or Benjamin Ondeni, the one in Lagos, or even the first PRO, Muyiwa Adejobi, will tell you that he's been taken up and investigations are ongoing to identify the policemen and all of that. Also, over the weekend, we hope to bring you that video in the course of the program. Over the weekend, some policemen were spotted shooting sporadically while escorting the praise singer of the APC, one young man in the north. Well, according to the police PRO now, those people have now been apprehended and will be made to face the law. But while we get that video ready for you now, let's take a look at what happened yesterday. Our own Israel Adesanya made us proud. Easy, the style bender, took on Alex Pereira in UFC 287 on Saturday night or early Sunday morning and came out victorious. That was the third time he was facing Alex Pereira, and he had lost to him 3 times. The fourth time, rather, he had lost to him 3 times. So it was some sort of redemption for Adesanya yesterday. He took that bout and knocked out Alex Pereira to reclaim his middleweight title in the UFC division. So let's see how Nigerians responded to that win yesterday. That's the picture of Adesanya with his belt. You know, Adesanya with his belt there showing on the screen. Now let's take our comment to begin with. JJ Omojuwa. JJ Omojuwa says Anthony Joshua has a win under his belt. Israel Adesanya has his belt back, and I'm certain Kamaru Usman will clinch his soon enough. I'm sure Kamaru Usman will clinch his soon enough. Time and seasons, our champions are back. Remember, Anthony Joshua lost his belts to the Alexander Usyk. 2 matches, lost his belt. Our president, Leonard Daniel, says, someone please check on Alex Pereira. Israel Adesanya reclaimed his UFC middleweight belt with one of the best knockouts in UFC's history. Now, Kamaru Usman is the next person to win. Anthony Joshua does it now easy. Did you bet like Drake? We must tell you that Drake won about $1.8 million having bet on Israel Adesanya. Next comment comes from Durotimi Dawodu of Lagos. APC supporters are busy celebrating Adesanya's win. Meanwhile, your government has failed to invest in sports in Nigeria, leaving billions of dollars in revenue and talented athletes to waste. For every Israel Adesanya or Anthony Joshua, there are thousands of sports talents rotting away here in Nigeria. A very bleak picture painted there by that man. Our message from the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, says by decisively knocking out his opponent and regaining his UFC middleweight title last night, Israel Adesanya at Stylebender proved that persistence is the path to reclamation. Congratulations, valiant champion P.O. Well, that's that statement from Peter Obi there. King Lamar comes next. He says, when it comes to precision, power, and pure skill, Israel Adesanya is in a league of his own. Congrats on the amazing win, champ. Atiku Abubakar, presidential candidate of the PDP, also gave his congratulatory message. Says, what a sweet gift for the season by Israel Adesanya. Congratulations. We're proud of you for retaining the UFC middleweight title. Actually, he reclaimed that title, having lost it to Alex Pereira. Alhaji Beardless Smalley says, Israel Adesanya pack Nigeria frustration for hand, blow this guy. You know, if you stand up. For some reasons, we can't show you that video, but you can go online on YouTube and check it out to see how Adesanya knocked out Alex Pereira. Anambra First Son says, Israel Adesanya losing to Pereira back-to-back was really bad for his ego. The last-minute part of the fight was very tactical from Adesanya. He made Pereira think he was overpowering him, only for him to knock him out. Now he's back to winning ways. What a fight. Onye Chelsea comes next, says, Israel Adesanya is a better man than most. Forget about Izzy the champion. Most men would have gone crazy on Alex Pereira when he was out, but Israel showed massive restraint. He held himself back from hitting his nemesis when he was out cold. More than a champion, UFC 287. Ariel Helwani says, Not enough is said about Israel Adesanya's activity. This will be his 15th UFC fight since his debut in February 2018. It will be his 10th title fight since he first fought for a belt of any kind in April 2019, and he returns less than 5 months since losing the belt in November. It's very strong bones there. Israel Adesanya repping Nigeria wherever he goes. Well, that's that on the show this morning. Those are the stories we have for you. But before we go, I did mention about the praise singer Daudu Kahuru of the APC, who has some police escorts attached to him. I'd like to show you that video just before I sign. I will take that video and then I'll come back to tell you what has happened as a result of that video. I mean, come on. What's that for? You in the midst of children, what if somebody had been hit by a stray bullet? What if someone had panicked? What if someone has a heart condition and then panicked and fainted because of that? It was such a waste of bullets. It was unnecessary, and I'm happy that the Nigeria Police Force has responded to that, arresting those men and saying that they will face the music for their actions. Well, we hope that policemen will learn to respect the people, like that man who was being assaulted in Rivers State, and of course, we learn to be in control of their emotions and not allow their emotions dictate how they use their weapons and ammunition. But that's the show this morning. My name is Emmanuel Ojadigele, EM Ojadigele on Twitter, on Facebook, Emmanuel Ojadigele. You can follow me. Let's have conversations and tag us to all of your tweets. You can also follow our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television, and do also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Western Spring Television. Have a lovely Monday. Have a beautiful week ahead. Do stay blessed.